Hi, everybody. Welcome to Worldview 360 with me and our friend Lena Down Under. Hi, Lena.
Hi, everyone. Good to see you, Erica.
Yes, good to see you. Thank you all for becoming members. That's really sweet of you. It's essentially the equivalent of buying me a coffee. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
I
go
get
for it,
people all
go.
the time asking, what can we do to support the work? And so I just established a single level. I don't believe in hierarchies that way. Just a single level, and it's the equivalent of buying me a coffee once a month. So thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Um, so, Lena, what an eventful week. And I think we should talk about the thing that is still on everyone's mind in that sort of soul crushingly sad way. But I want to take a particular slant on it, and that is Dolly going to her reward. Um, I loved all the photographs from all over the world
Oh, I know,
of
isn't it amazing?
the pink, yes. And did you see Buckingham Palace? I know you're not a fan, but Buckingham Palace, the whatever you call it with the horns,
Oh, the bugle or something.
whatever that when they played 9 to 5, which I thought
Oh,
was just
how
so
hilarious.
sweet, but all
Oh,
over
that's
the world.
great.
And
Great.
but what and if you're interested, I said a little more about her in my Substack yesterday, so go and look at that if you're interested. But what I wanted to talk about is the wonder, the awe, the shock, the confusion that there seems to be on the part of a lot of white people in this country who just had no idea what an icon Dolly was and is to the Black community. We love her. What we see, we have this expression. We say there are certain white women that we don't play about. Like we don't play about Diana.
Yes.
We don't play about Dolly. We don't play about Anne Hathaway, the actor.
Yeah.
There's Jane Fonda. We don't play about Jane Fonda. We don't play about who died. Betty White. We don't play about Betty White. We say these are people that have been ride or die for us, and so we are ride or die for them. And so I saw a white creator who said something really important. She says, if you're white and you're wondering, where is all of this outpouring of angst coming from in the Black community for Dolly Parton, maybe do a little research about who she was and how she lived, and then maybe take a leaf or two out of her book, and then maybe you too will be mourned when it's time for you to go.
Yes, exactly.
But
And
what
look,
a wonderful
she
person.
supported so many marginalized
Yes.
groups.
Yes.
Her library donations and
Yeah.
stuff right through Appalachia. So she supported through HIV.
Yeah. The
She
LGBTQ
supported gay
community,
marriage.
trans. Yes, she was an 80 years old. I mean, I always say, no matter how long your life is, it's short. It's short. And we could have used another 80 years of Dolly, but she said her nephew put out a statement, and one of the things that he said was that she said at the end that she wanted to rest in cotton because the rhinestones had been heavy. So she's resting in cotton. I know her funeral is private, as it should be, because first of all, I mean, you couldn't fit everybody that would want to come to something like that. But what a gift. And I think that the biggest tribute we can give her in order to make her memory a blessing is to, again, take a leaf out of her book. She was kind and she was honest.
Kind.
And
funny.
honest. She was her own self. Somebody said, what do you know? What things in your life do you regret? And she looked taken aback. She says, I don't have any regrets. She said, because every decision that I've made at the time, it was the best decision that I could make. So I don't live in regret. I don't live from
There's
that.
a lesson right there.
There's a lesson right there. But I'm getting teared up. I thought I had cried
I
myself.
know it's amazingly emotional, and bless her forever.
Yes, bless her forever. And we were blessed to live on the same planet. I love that the people are saying things like, "You got the wrong 80-year-old." Like, yeah,
Yeah, right.
he started D.O., but the rest of the name you got. What are you doing? So that's really funny. And I will say that the felon has paid no small attention to this outpouring of grief, to the point where he has lowered the flags at half staff. But then he makes a statement, and of course, he has to center himself in the statement. What did he say?
Yeah.
He said, "She really liked me. She wasn't a
Oh,
political
don't.
person, but she was very fond of me."
No, she
Which,
didn't,
by the
Pip.
way, no, she didn't.
No,
She
she didn't.
refused. She refused the Medal of Freedom twice when he offered it. So that there's that. And her sister, I mean, she had like a million siblings.
Yeah. She's one of 12 or something.
Yeah, 14, I think. And she was number 4. But one of her sisters came out yesterday, I mean, the day of her sister's death, and just read him the riot act.
Oh, true.
Oh,
wow.
No diplomacy whatsoever, and I thought it was great. But
wow.
my point is that if there's some small measure of glee is too strong a word because we're mourning, right? But something that makes me smile is that when you take the outpouring of love and affection for her, that is what he will receive, except the opposite in equal measure. Right? The streets are going to flow with champagne. The horns are going to blow. People are going to be dancing in the streets. The opposite of what we're doing now for Dolly. That's what, and the sad thing for him is all he wants in life would be to have people.
That sort of genuine adulation, adoration. Yeah.
Right. But you gotta be it to get it. So yeah, too bad. Oh well, maybe next time around.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just wanted to just give Dolly her props because, God bless her. All right. Something else, no particular order, but I wanted to talk a little bit about the fact that Jared Kushner and Hakeem Jeffries had a meetup last week. And I, like many people, said, wait, what? Hakeem, what? I mean, what are you doing? You're the minority leader. Isn't he the minority leader? Yeah, he's the minority leader. Why are you talking to Jared, who has no role in government, except, of course, that he's the unofficial war broker for the felon in Iran? Why are you meeting with him? So apparently they met up with at a place that was like a home, I guess, or office, whatever, of a mutual friend of theirs. And we're told that they talked about things like fair housing. Well, at this point, I wanted to rip my hair out. So instead of ripping my hair out, I just cut it today instead. Hope it looks okay. I'm sure my people will tell me, oh, there's Aaron, the hairstylist. He'll tell me if I messed it up. But anyway, I wanted to rip my hair out because I thought, Jared Kushner, the slumlord, all up and down the eastern seaboard, he is known as a slumlord. So why, Hakeem? What are you doing?
Yes, he has something like 25,000 apartments or something in New Jersey.
Yes, New Jersey, New York. He's a slumlord. But then I pulled cards on it, and you know how you have certain assumptions of what they're going to say, and then they don't say that. You're like, oh. So I came at the topic really having an attitude towards him, Hakeem. And the cards said something different. I think that there's a lot of behind the scenes conversations going on because the Republicans know that their days are numbered. That once we have these midterms and once January comes, there's going to be new sheriffs in town in the form of Congress and Senate. And that the felon will not just be a lame duck, he'll be a dead duck. And I think that Jared was going there to feel out Hakeem because, he doesn't want to be the subject of inquiries. I think he was trying to make nice with Hakeem. But I got the impression from the cards that Hakeem, he has no sense of humor, Hakeem Jeffries, as far as I'm concerned. Like he smiles, not that you have to grin like a Cheshire cat, but he seems just very stoic and serious. And I think that was his attitude in the meeting. And I think that Jared came away feeling like he didn't really quite get what he wanted to get out of the meeting. Time will tell. But here's the more important point. Heather Cox Richardson said, I'm less interested in what they talked about and why, and more interested in who leaked it and why. So Maggie Haberman and a colleague from the Times who are affiliated with as she said, with the Trump White House were the ones who broke the story. It is certainly not helpful to the Democrats, for Democrats to learn, Democratic voters to learn that Hakeem met with Jared. It looks shady, right? So why was that story planted if it wasn't to try to hurt the Democrats?
Okay, you can be the good cop on this topic because I'm still in the other camp in the sense of Heather Cox Richardson, full respect, she's done an amazing job, every day. But she was interested in the leak. I'm not so interested in the leak. I do want to know why they met and what was said.
Well, I do too.
And I still find it bizarre. Like, we can't be naive and think power players, of course, are going to talk to each other in every configuration. So in and of itself, it shouldn't be the end of the world that they met. Where I think Hakeem Jeffries blew it was saying, because they have a choice what they say they were talking about.
Yeah.
Right? They could have been talking about NASCARs for all we know, but they get to control what they say the meeting is about.
Right.
And to me, he blew it by saying we were talking about affordability and the affordability crisis.
Right.
That to me,
of all
that's it right there. That was so tone deaf.
I agree. 100%. You're going to talk to Jared Kushner about affordability? Come on. Right. No, you know what?
That in itself is such a bad, twisted joke that it cannot be left on the table as, that's what they were talking about.
No, he should have played real hardball, and he should have said, Jared requested the meeting. I took the meeting out of politeness.
Yes.
And I informed him that, come January, it will be a new ball game. And that I was not interested in making any deal. That's what he should have done.
Yes, exactly.
But he's an old Democrat. He's not a progressive.
Yes, I mean, he is Pelosi's right rib.
Exactly.
But the difference is, I think, she was a firebrand and then a corporate worker. But there was this, depending on the issue. I mean, he doesn't have the firebrand aspect. He just has the corporate stuff.
That's right.
And it looks very limp.
It does.
It's not a good look.
Well, something else that Heather Cox Richardson pointed out. She said, we can knock ourselves out being mad at Hakeem. But in the end, that won't get us anywhere because we don't get to vote who the majority leader is once they're in the majority. It is the membership who does. And for the members, it's also not a popularity contest. The members choose the majority leader based on who they think can get things through.
Exactly. And his track record, correct me if I'm wrong, is not scintillating.
No, it's not.
Okay, regardless of what we think
about
this, that, and the other, and understandably, it's the membership that chooses and all of that. But if I was in a voting role there and I had any other options on the table, I'd be seriously looking at the other options. Because it's a very important role. For the next 2 years, arguably, it is the most important role because technically the Republicans will still have Trump there. So those critical 2 years between the midterms and things. To have put it this way, his passivity is dangerous.
It's very dangerous, and it's not a good look. Well, again, assuming that we win the midterms, a lot of the people incoming are going to be progressive candidates. So Hakeem is going to get schooled, I suspect, in what his membership will and will not. I mean, remember that these leaders serve at the pleasure of their members. We saw that with I can't remember that on the Republican side. Remember when they couldn't get the votes?
Oh, Mike Johnson and trying to get the whip through. Yeah.
Yeah. So Hakeem, hopefully, he's had some come to Jesus conversations with people who can make him see sense. But it was not a good look, that meeting. It was not.
No, and I'd go as far as to say when the bloodbath comes after the midterms, one way or another, because I predict a four-way split. I think the Dems are going to fight themselves to a standstill, the progressive and the corporate, and MAGA and non-MAGA Republicans.
Right.
It is not going to be pretty, but it's essential for the country to mature and grow and be a better version of itself. That conversation has to happen. And a full 2 years, and the progressives are going to be so much more powerful, regardless of voting outcomes, just in terms of holding the public space.
Absolutely.
In those 2 years, imagine.
A lot can be done in 2 years, exactly.
Yeah.
Somebody just asked what was Jared's portfolio. I mean, Jared's portfolio is real estate, and he is the great peacemaker in the Middle East, which he's not doing a very good job at that. And with the real estate, again, he's a slum lord. We know his interest in the Middle East, in Gaza anyway, was that he was the one who's going to make it beachfront.
The resort.
Yeah.
How obscene.
It's obscene. That is his portfolio.
Then they're trying to do the same in Albania, but people will sabotage that project.
Right.
So he's a fiend.
Right.
Kushner might, look like the mealy mouth thing in an Armani suit, but he's a fiend.
He looks like the undead.
Yes.
Just saying.
Yes.
So, speaking of meetings, there's been another meeting that people are very curious about, which is the fact that CIA Director John Ratcliffe is his name, went for a very, very quick meeting to Moscow to talk to his counterparts, his, whatever the equivalent in Russia is. I think that's very interesting.
What do you know about it? Because I haven't caught up with this story.
Well, we were not told anything about it at all. I know that it was a very quick meeting. He wasn't there for very long. And again, here's what I think, and what my cards suggest. Here's what I think. I think that there have been a lot of sort of backroom, clandestine meetings and deals between Moscow and the White House, or the administration, we'll say. And I think that there's been a lot of bad stuff that's gone on. Again, I want to bring up the midterms. There will be investigations on everything under the sun once the House and Senate change hands. And I feel like Radcliffe went there to say something like this. It's been great doing business with you, and we feel so much closer to you than we ever did during the Cold War era, and, Skoll or whatever. They drink their blood. But just so you know, the felon is about to be not really as powerful as he was before. No. And so there may be certain things that we promised that we're not going to be able to deliver. That's what I think he said. And I think that the Moscow people said, that sounds like a you problem. We've signed on the dotted line, clandestine as it was. Therefore, you have to keep to your end of the bargain. I think there is so much information that they have, the CIA and the Soviet counterpart have on the felon and on the administration that I think there's going to be big fallout. And I think he went there to try to kind of stem that. And I don't think it will have worked.
No, and I think Putin's in his own crisis.
Yep.
And Trump is certainly heading for a big crisis one way or another in November. Right. Now, the problem is with Trump that no one can actually make a deal with this man because he has the attention span of a rock spider and and has no moral core.
Right.
So I think that's what people have realized in this second incarnation internationally.
Right.
Everyone just held their nose and hoped for the best first time around and thought the American people won't tolerate this again. How embarrassing. And here we are. And the problem is no one trusts a deal with him. He's incapable of it. All his representatives, because they're simply not professional enough.
That's right.
So the point I was getting to, sorry about the delay, was back in the day, I remain convinced that Putin had compromat on Trump from right back in the Miss World competition. So we all were aware of that, right? The problem is the man is scandal proof. So if Putin thinks now he has any leverage over Trump, I doubt it. He could let out the PP tapes. He could do whatever he wanted and drop them with balloons out of a helicopter, and it would make no difference to this presidency. So Putin's lost power and Trump's lost power.
That's right. That's right.
You know?
Yes. I mean, these could have been just sort of two toothless representatives commiserating about their toothlessness.
Yes.
Something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that.
I don't know. Something just flashed on my screen, which is the fact that Meta is having to pay billions and billions of dollars in compensation because children have been harmed by,
because Europe is taking Zuckerberg and Musk to the cleaners.
Yes,
individual European countries. Yeah,
right. Just so you know, everybody, do not be looking for a check in the mail. You're thinking it's billions of dollars. So how many thousands of that will I get? None. So, but it's the money is going to be earmarked for states will receive the money, and a lot of it will go towards education. So that's all right. That's good, I guess.
Yeah, except I don't believe it.
No, I don't either. That's why I said
if that was going to happen, this is the stuff that they do, right? Leading into Brexit in the UK, which was breaking away from the EU after 40 years in a single market, the slogan that got Brexit over the line was, we will have £350 million a week going into the health service. So people saw that going by on buses. They saw that when they turned their TV on, and they thought, well, that's great.
It's great. So they voted for Brexit.
So they voted for it, right?
Yeah. And
when, of course, not a single note, has gone into it. So sorry, I interrupted. Do go.
No, I think that's it's interesting. So for those of you who are not aware, now you are aware, and we need to keep our eyes open and ask that question. Like, so I don't see it in my local schools. Where's that money going? We should hold people.
No, and there's two reasons why you'll never see it. One is it's first of all, it's got to get past the Trump piggy bank.
Right.
Then the next stage is getting it to the big corporate. Walmart will get reimbursed, and all the giants
the tariffs. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So whoops, there's nothing left. This is how they operate. And so don't expect anything marvelous in the post for sure.
Okay, so that reminds me of something, and I took a photograph of it so that I would remember it. Okay. So, you know how Trump has that new thing where people can pay and to get his tweets or truths or whatever early?
Oh, don't.
Yeah.
Well, they're Natalie Hart's tweets, you know.
Well, okay. So what he does, so it what he does is he creates the turmoil, he condemns the reaction, and then he monetizes access to the remedy.
Yes,
So it's
exactly.
basically what you're talking about. He will benefit from this some kind of, which is unfortunate.
There's another interesting comment here from Nan. I'm sickened about the treatment of that sailor who attempted unaliving. What this person is having to endure now. He's been disciplined by the Navy.
Yeah.
Hegseth's Navy.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Well, that's disgusting. Here's another one to add to disgusting in terms of military. There was a young woman who was SA'd, we'll call it, in her bunk on a ship.
Mm.
And she brought charges, and they rejected the claim, saying that, oh no, this is a workman's comp issue because you were working at the time. What? Workman's comp? No, it was.
Yeah.
So, but we know Hegseth is, well, we know what Hegseth is. So,
and you get the feeling with snippets of stories, even though they've kept a big iron lid on things, still the stories are getting out. That it's still just this side of mutiny, but you get the feeling that people are getting angrier and angrier and angrier about how they're being treated, and the families are furious,
as they should be. Well, and
as they should be.
You know, the tone deafness of Hegseth going on a exploratory expedition in the Midwest to see whether, you know, to float the presidential run balloon. You would think Hegseth, if he had done his job right, if he were good for the military, he'd have a built-in constituency. The military would all vote for him for president.
They've, you know, totally. How it's always been, you know, 2/3 will vote Conservative, and that's what they do. And
no, they are destroying that.
Is part. Let's go zoom out for a minute. This is part of, I think, the bigger cultural, demographic, cultural, gender, racial, all of this is being thrown in the air, and it will come down in a different pattern.
That's right. We don't know exactly what pattern, but it's going to be different than the pattern that it went up in.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Because I'll just give a little quick family story. So my brother-in-law's family, they had a 19-year-old who was called up for conscription for Vietnam. And I remember I was only a little kid, but you'd watch it after the news. They'd have like the lottery thing, and your birth date had come up.
Yeah.
To go to Vietnam, right? Yeah. And he got called up. And his father got in touch with the Australian Department of Defence. I'm going to cry just telling this story, but he said, take me. I was a dam buster in World War II. I can still get out there. Please don't take my son, right? Anyway, the conscription went forward. And then just as he got deployed, a new government came in that cut conscription. Now, his father was a Conservative voter all his life. I'm getting to the point. They changed the vote. This is now 60 years ago. They changed the family vote to Labor, and they've stayed Labor now two generations on.
And it's what we've been saying. As soon as it's personal, that's when
then people get it. And I think there's going to be a switch after this in terms of the military, whereas soldiers, not just American soldiers have always been sent to wars they knew nothing about, were not actually invested in. You know, we glamorize it, but they didn't know what was going on in any conflict. And now I think that's going to look really different.
It's
And they're
going to
going to
look really
start
different.
questioning.
But then you know what? He's going to have to do a draft. And how's that going to look?
And that's not going to fly.
No, it's not going to fly. I mean, that's the thing he doesn't remember. We have a volunteer army. So when you're treating these military people this way, so disrespectfully, and their
And
families
cruelly and petty
cruel.
things,
Right.
really nasty. But here's the kicker. Let's say they introduce a draft. They don't want women. They don't want blacks. They don't want Latinos. That leaves the white boys.
No, they'll change their tune on the black ones.
Of course they will when it's cannon fodder time.
Cannon fodder.
Suddenly it'll be fine to be women. But isn't that interesting that right at this point in history, they've extracted the main groups that are growing in the military.
Right, right. Well, you know, this is going to be one more albatross around his neck that he's going to have to figure out, the felon, or whoever's around him will have to figure it out. Can we say
and he's nudging? Sorry.
No, go ahead.
He's hovering around the 30%.
Yeah.
Now, it's only a matter, I hope, of hours until that slides under the 30. Then you've got to let that, because certain polls will keep bumping him up a wee bit. So it has to go to 23, 24. But I think we might get there.
I think we might get there. I want to say a word about, Canada.
Ah!
I mean, again, Canadian nice is a thing. They are very nice until they're not. And I am loving the fact
love.
I mean, now that guy, Doug Ford, I guess he's from Ontario. He's a nut. Yeah. But he said the felon can kiss my And then he said, he was asked, he said, did Carney tell you, you know, Doug, maybe you should tone that down. Maybe you shouldn't. And he said, no. Ford said, no. He said, I have a lot of real estate, so there's plenty for him to kiss.
Yeah.
I'm a big guy. That was great.
It was so satisfying to watch. Now, the thing with Doug Ford, I think from the little I know about Canadian politics, he's a bit of a rough shooter.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm not saying for a minute that he should be supported in every way, but that was such gold. And that thing he was saying too, I've got a skin like an alligator. I've been around longer than you. Go on, bring it on. That drives Trump insane.
Right.
Because there's no fear, couldn't care less.
Mm-mm. So I'm just, you know, we have the tariff, whatever, now he's tariffed them at whatever it is, 50%. And they've said, okay, well, we'll tariff you at 50%. There are places in the US that get their electricity from Canada. So now they're saying, well, maybe you all don't need that electricity. Maybe we'll just stop powering you all up.
Well, this is the thing when you believe your own rubbish.
Right.
We don't need anything from Canada. We've been subsidizing Canada for $250 billion a year. No, just no, not the case. By saying all that, I'm actually still shockable, because I'm shocked how the American media is reporting this story. It's like America offered them this very reasonable deal and Canada were just not interested and they walked away. No, they were threatening the very identity of Canada, telling them to no longer speak French in French-speaking Canada, saying you cannot sign any other trade deal unless you run it by us. That's full-on colonialism.
Yes.
That's what that is.
Yes. Well, I'm sure that's what the felon would like to be, is the colonial ruler of this part of the world. Well, it's not going to work.
Yeah, and it's so not working.
No.
And I think it's a real plus. Canada has really, really come together over this. And like we were just talking about votes changing, I think this is an intergenerational memory being forged now.
Yes.
So you ask a 5-year-old in 30 years' time in Canada, they will still know this story.
That's right. That's right. So I am Team Canada on this one, and good for you, eh?
Yes, totally.
Let's see. Go ahead.
Sorry, just another little thing in the comments. Tim Curry,
Yes.
who was Frankenfurter.
Yes.
Oh, back in the day.
Yes.
Oh my God. And
Very
he passed
sad.
on the same day as Dolly. Two greats gone.
Two greats gone. I mean, and they couldn't, the Grim Reaper could not aim his scythe a little to the I don't know. Yeah, it's something. So we're all over the place, and that's fine. Ghislaine Maxwell. So she has just, well, first of all, I think this was very weird. She represented herself in some of these latest attempts at getting free instead of having her attorney do it. That was dumb. Everything's been thrown out. So she's essentially run out of legal avenues to get free. And apparently she's been waiting for that moment, because now is when she will be writing up her petition to the felon for commutation or pardon. And I read on this the other day, and I think she has run out of runway. And run out of rope. And I think that he will not pardon her. I think she'll put her paperwork in, and then she'll tell herself, well, he'll do it in 2 years when he's on the way out the door, because that's when they do all those big commutations. He won't do it. And you and I were talking backstage. It's not that he won't do it for any philosophical reasons. He won't do it because he'll be like, Ghislaine who?
Yes, exactly.
Ghislaine who? So she can stay there for another 12, 15 years. And good.
Yes, indeed. Again, like, oh.
Glad to see the back of her.
Something I just wanted to talk about too. Yeah. I just saw something in my feed early this morning. Yeah. DHS agents are being sent to various places to vet voting rolls.
Well, you've got that, and then you've got also this Supreme Court saying, well, we'll hold off for now on whether the felon can stop in, what do you call it, mail-in voting. So there are definitely challenges to our right to vote that are taking place.
Exactly. And the problem is, because he's so determined about this issue, and the Supreme Court gave him a wave this week to make it much easier. But you can't trust it just because legally it can go ahead. Why would you trust that system when he's got people placed all over who are primed to lose ballots, miscount, whatever? God knows what purging is going on in the rolls as we speak. So please don't assume, anything about this election. Make sure.
Don't assume anything, but also don't lose hope. Don't say, well, he's going to screw it up.
No, it's more important than ever.
Right.
So let's just briefly, and I'm sure we will again between now and the minute, what that means is if you're in a blue state and you trust your system, that's okay. But if you're in a swing state, let alone a red state, assume nothing.
Right.
Make your own decision about mail-in ballots. But if you're going to the polling booth, don't go alone.
Right.
So get organised now with a pre-election planning. Make sure you've got your burner phone with the lawyer's number in it. There are things you can do right now to work towards a healthier outcome.
Right. And if you don't want to bring a phone, I would put a phone number on your hand or on your arm.
Yeah,
I would do
like
that.
all the old trick. Don't bring your conventional phone is what we're saying.
Right.
But people need communication in the modern world. So if you can afford a little disposable, it can just be a little
There
Mickey
are
Mouse thing.
300 million of us. So,
hello.
you know, and such a small percentage of us actually do vote. So, I mean, we have the numbers to overwhelm whatever it is that he tries to do.
Yeah. And as a little reminder, yes, I think it was 90 million eligible voters didn't vote in the last election. More than voted for Kamala, more than voted for Trump. The biggest section was those who couldn't distinguish between the two and couldn't be asked getting off the couch and going to vote.
Do you know, I saw a woman interviewed on TV today, and the reporter asked her to name what she thought was Trump's biggest accomplishment.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
This was a lovely Southern middle-aged woman. I mean, she looked to be maybe in her 50s, I would say. And she said, with a straight face, that he freed us from rule by Great Britain. So the reporter's like, excuse me? And she said, yes, it's been a 250-year-old secret that Great Britain has, in fact, been ruling us all this time. And Trump. So my point is that our literacy rate is quite low. Our critical thinking skills are quite diminished.
Subterranean. They're really bad.
Yes, they're quite bad. And so there are people who still think that, you know, Charles is our king, I guess, or that only recently have we been freed from being our king.
Yeah.
Where did their mother think they were going every day that they left for school with their little packed lunch? Didn't they go to school and learn anything?
Well, if they got to school, they'd be taught the American narrative. So they still wouldn't be able to find Thailand on a map if their life depended on it.
No. That's the thing. I mean, if we were all aware and alert and awake, it would be one thing. But there is a lot of cultivated stupidity out there.
Yes. So, and there's a comment here. To check out Vigilantes Inc., white voters in southern states are quashing black voters through antiquated laws. Yes, so to pay attention, particularly if you're living in those southern states, take nothing for granted. Take all your ID.
There's a lot going on in the South relative to Black people. And Gary, Indiana, which is not in the South, having no power, and I've yet to see it headlined on any newscast yet. Gary is
a big place, isn't it? Gary, Indiana.
It's large and it's Black. And it's also the site or near the site of where Elon wants to put a huge data center. And the object of the game, I think, is to essentially create a population of serfs, people who sort of are beholden to the company store, right? And they'll get company jobs, just like indentured servants.
Yes.
So you're paying your boss for the things that you need to buy.
For the roof over your head, and you're constantly in debt to your boss.
Yes. And then you have these
also controls housing and groceries.
Right. And then you've got the hangings that are going on. I think, I'll tell you, I think that I saw something on Instagram and I thought, you know what, he's right. He said, you know, I think I figured out why these things are not being investigated and why there's no because I don't know, allegedly for entertainment purposes only. He says, I think it's law enforcement that's doing it. And down there, that would not surprise me one bit.
No.
Because people during the day have their little uniforms on, right? or their nurse's outfit or whatever it is, and then at night they go to the,
Look, exactly. It's the same in Australia, in our redneck states. They're the ones you have to look out for,
Yeah.
right? Because they are the authority in those areas.
Yeah.
And look at all the young Indigenous women who have
Yes.
gone missing forever.
That's right.
It has to involve law enforcement on some level. If the kindest interpretation is just slackness, not investigating. But the world is not kind in that sense, and so they're not going to report their own. They're not going to investigate their own. So I am totally an advocate of that hypothesis. It's just the only thing that makes sense.
It's the only thing that makes sense. Right. So, if you are a Southern voter, that's scary to go vote because, they would do things like in the last election, if you handed people water because they were online voting and it was hot, you could get arrested for handing somebody a bottle of water.
It is this petty, sadistic fascism that is going to blow people's minds. So make sure you have your own water and be discreet. Can you believe this?
Yes.
Afghanistan
it's the 50s
has a
and
more
60s.
reliable voting system now than the United States of America.
Right. And it's so amusing that we were the ones who would be going to these places and observing.
Spreading democracy.
Yes.
I don't think so, Pip.
No.
No.
Look how the lights changed. See how dark it's gotten all of a sudden? It's just the seasons are changing and now it's getting dark.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I want to say a word about. I guess she has nothing to do with it, but that's okay. Natalie Harp. So I don't know if anybody saw the video, but there was video this weekend where the felon was at some car race in South Carolina, and Melania was there, and they're sitting next to each other, and then they had a conversation, and it looked like it got heated, to the point where a White House person yelled at the camera people, "Get the cameras off the president." And the camera people were like, "Wait, what? You can't, that's not legal. It's a president of the United States. We're outside. It's an outside venue. You can't say to take the cameras off the president." And they were clearly having an argument. And then there was a lip reader who, said that she said something like, "If such and such, then I'm leaving." Okay. Next thing you see behind the felon is somebody in a short black mini dress reaching out to hand him a phone. And as she's reaching out, you see the blonde hair. It's Natalie. Well, no sooner does he reach for the phone, Melania is out of there, gone. So that's very interesting. I think, though, what's more interesting is all of this speculation about her. I tried to take the high road. I did. I tried. Meaning, I thought, this poor girl, she comes from nowhere and nothing. She must believe that he freed up that drug that cured her of bone cancer, which, by the way, was bogus. It's also we don't even know whether she actually had bone cancer, by the way. But anyway, okay. And she has been around for years. She's the one who apparently introduced Laura Loomer to the president.
Oh, really? Has she been around that long?
She's been around that long. Yes. So speculation now is that she's not some besotted, delusional, lovesick, puppy dog, sycophant. No, that she's an operator. Now, look, she makes $150,000 a year. That's a good salary. But what if some operative from somewhere, I don't know, maybe someplace with a blue and white flag, and it could be anybody, says to her, "That's a good salary you're making, but how about if we just put a 0 or 2 on the end of that? All you have to do is, give us first access, tell us how things are going. How's he feeling today? Who's he been talking to? I think because she's been there too long for this to be what it's been pitched as, which is just this crazy delusional girl. She's got her claws so into him that apparently she is the closest person to him. Susie Wiles can't get to him the way that she can.
Yes. I think one does not rule out the other.
Well, yeah, because they would use her because she's crazy. Yeah.
Right. I don't think one rules out the other. And I agree with Aaron in the comments here. The rabbit boils. She's totally a bunny boiler in my view.
You could see it in her eyes. I hate to say it, but
she is the most important person, arguably, as we speak, because she's his Truth Social mouthpiece.
Yes.
And this presidency runs on tweets.
Well, more than that, all somebody has to do, they contact her, and then there's a code word that she uses, printed. And so if you want to get to the president, you give her the message, she'll type back to you printed, which means that she has relayed your message to him. Now, these are foreign people and foreign governments that she's done.
She's at foreign meetings and stuff, not cleared. It's obscene.
Well, it was funny for a minute, and now it's not funny. It's
not funny anymore. It's really not funny anymore, because at best she's a nutcase.
Right.
And the most likely she is both a nutcase and an operative.
That's what I think too.
And I think it's time, and it's overdue really, for some sort of intervention.
But who's going to do that, Lena?
White House office areas. Can you imagine how ghastly it would be to work in that environment? And she has such power now. So you're not only, like any abusive relationship, only X amount of the time is physical violence. The rest of the time is what mood is he in.
Right.
So other people have to navigate that and trust her with their gossip or their talking point or something, when you obviously can't trust this person.
Somebody needs to slip him something so he can sleep, and then somebody needs to go in there and strong arm her out.
Yes.
I mean,
and
nobody
they
won't do that.
The Rubios and the Vances and the others that have heavyweight roles couldn't, have a conversation in the car park. They need Michael Cohen,
He's another one. Now he's calling the felon again boss, because there's a clemency application on Trump's desk for Michael Cohen, and Michael Cohen wants that clemency signed.
And here's the thing, superficially, I could understand that people want to clear their name and do. However, two things. One is he did X, Y, and Z.
Yeah,
he should be talking to his rabbi about it, not Trump.
Right.
So that's the moral argument. Two, it will never clear his name because of his subsequent betrayal of people.
That's right.
So nothing can clean up Michael Cohen's.
No, so which frees him up to be as bad as Trump needs him to be.
Naturally is, apparently.
Yeah, as he actually is.
It's a nasty bit of work. He was intimidating women and kids in car parks.
That's right. Well, that's the thing. Well, that's what broke the whole thing open, was that, there were all these questions about the 13-year-old, the one, right? And then people started saying, wait a minute, Michael Cohen must have been the one who took care of that situation. And he denied it, but that's when he said, oh, I better go back to my original camp, because I'm not going to be able to sustain this story that I had nothing to do with it. I knew nothing about it. His job was to do that, to threaten women. That was his job.
And he put his hand up and he got paid for it.
That's right.
What a man.
Mm.
Disgusting. And he can't backpedal from here because he
No,
got the biggest pass in the universe
sure did.
by making the big mea culpa, only to
Let me
find out.
tell you something. Dummy that I am, I would read his
I bought
Substack.
I
Very
bought it.
good writer. You bought, yeah, no, well, you didn't. You weren't the dummy that I was. I was such a dummy. I even did a paid subscription for a month because his writing was so good.
Ah.
So he got my money. Oh my God! But only for a
Oh,
month.
no.
I'm just saying.
No. And when I say I bought it, I didn't buy the book, but I
No,
bought
no,
the
no. You
confession. I
believed
bought
him.
the apology. I bought the
Right,
concept.
right,
And there were 2 or
right.
3 years where he was a sought-after talking head.
Well, you know,
so it
Americans
wasn't as though
love.
it was 6 months.
We love a redemption story. Speaking of redemption stories, I do want to call people's attention to Bill Gates's newsletter. He wrote a newsletter, and I'll try to put it in my community notes or in my next video. I'll put it in the description. So Bill Gates, he of Microsoft, did a really very, very good analysis of the pros and cons of AI. And it is absolutely worth reading. And he's going to do further deep dives into both the pros and the cons. But I think it's really important reading for everyone, just so we know what we're facing and that we are the ones who get to decide how far this actually does go and to what ends it's being used. So Bill, and I brought him up now because, you know, he had his own fall from grace. With being associated with Mr. E. But
he does have a history of at least doing good works in.
Yes, and this newsletter is absolutely worth reading. You will feel way more informed than you already do about AI.
It's a good
and its
recommendation.
Mm-hmm. So I'll put the note for it in my next YouTube or in my community notes. Yeah. So did we miss anything?
Well, in the comments, I love this. Katana, I might do a video on this myself. Natalie Hart. Is it Hart or Harp? What's
Harp.
her name?
P with a P. Harp.
Like the instrument. Okay.
Yeah, like the instrument.
She could turn all misery on Trump. You remember that film Misery?
Misery, yes.
Clint Eastwood was prisoner.
No, it was James Caan. James Caan and Kathy Bates. And Kathy Bates.
Yeah. I think. She could end up having him change in the basement and ruling the world.
Absolutely. So watch this space. I'm just checking to see if there's anything that we didn't talk about. I'm sure
other things, but they'll have to roll on to next week.
We can roll it on to next week. I just want to say, if anybody is still shopping at Target, I don't know why you are. If you're Black, you better not be. And I don't know if you saw the latest thing. They had a costume, Halloween costumes. Halloween's big over here. The Halloween costume, which is worn by a Black child, is they're calling it like a clown outfit, but it was a minstrel thing with the big crown. And the pose was from an actual painting drawing of blackface. So they had this in their stores. Of course, there was a big brouhaha, and now Target says they're deeply apologetic.
Too little, too late,
you know
too
what
often.
It is? No, somebody pointed this out.
Do you not support Target?
You know what it is? Target has decided, it's like that, is it? Black people who were our stock in trade, our biggest supporters, we're the ones that started to call it Target.
Yes.
But no, what they've decided is, you're not our demographic anymore. That's fine. Not a problem. We're going to go where our demographic is. That's why they put that costume out. They're appealing to that ugly white nationalist, racist vibe. That's why they put that out.
Yeah.
So
has it been withdrawn? Has it been withdrawn?
Yeah, they withdrew it. But I mean, day late and a dollar short.
Mm.
So,
Yeah.
All right, you all. Thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for talking the way you did. Oh, Doug Ford is agreeing with. Yes, Doug Ford's agreeing with the rest of Canadians, but he's an atrocity. Doug Ford is a wild one, I have to say. But you know what they say: the enemy of my enemy.
Time and place. He's really good right now in this context.
Enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Absolutely in that camp.
That's right. Absolutely. So you all, you can find this replay on Lena's channel and on my channel. And Lena is Lena Down Under. So go check her workout. And where I'm here all the time. So we will see you next week. We are that much closer to the midterms. We're 10 weeks away.
We're going to blink and it's September.
Yes, we're down to single digits in terms of weeks now. So make sure you're registered. Make sure your neighbors and friends are registered, and make a plan to vote, because our lives do depend on it.
Do not go on your own. Think it through. Think the whole day through. What is this going to look like? How are you getting there? How are you getting home? Who with really put care and attention into it. It's a military campaign, voting in America.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. We'll see you next week. Thanks so much for being here.
Bye, guys.